If you're thinking about starting an EV charging business, well, then you're in the right place. And today I want to talk about the 3 poker chips that you have in your back pocket to negotiate with. But first, if you're new here, my name's Trevor and I helped launch 2 successful EV charging startups. And now I make videos on how it all works. And I'd love if you were to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below if you have questions about anything that I haven't covered yet. So when you're pitching your offer, you need to know what you're working with, right? And there are 3 main things to keep in mind that we're going to use to negotiate our deals. And I go into all the best strategies and the best way to set up your business in my course below. I want to tell you a little story about how I realized that these 3 things are so important to keep in mind when you're trying to close your deals. So a couple days ago, I went to what's called the Everything Electric Show in Vancouver at the convention center. And all it is it's a giant conference of everything electric vehicles, EV charging. So on the top floor, they had all the EV charging companies. They were all lined up with their different booths, and it was all the major players you can imagine. I'm not going to go and list them all, but if you're thinking of one, they were probably there. And I was just going around and talking to them all, learning different things about what they're offering. And this is where the idea came about of these 3 key poker chips, because every time I was having a conversation with one of these companies, the 3 things kept coming up. And this is why I realized it was so important. And a large part of what these 3 things are what differentiates all the different EV charging companies from one another. Because you have to understand, when it comes to the hardware and the software, a lot of these EV charging companies actually use the same suppliers. For example, there's a company called Lite-On. I believe they're a Korean manufacturer, and there's so many EV charging companies that use their hardware and they just stick their logo on. So then it's like, okay, well, how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors if the hardware is the same, right? And this is super important for you to know when you're putting your contract together and presenting it to your client or your host. What are the key things that we want and what are we willing to give up in order to secure the deal? Okay, so what are our 3 poker chips that we can negotiate with when we're trying to close our deals? I'll just go through them all first and explain what they are, and then I'll tell you why they matter in terms of our business. So when it comes to our 3 poker chips, the first one is the most important one, and it's the revenue or the revenue share. And this is what we want. This is our golden goose. If we're going to give up anything, it's not this. We want to try to hold on to as much of the revenue, as much of our golden goose as we can. So what I mean by revenue sharing is, let's say there's a charger installed somewhere and someone goes and uses it, and the profit on that session was $10, just to use a round number. So of that profit, it depends on the contract agreement between the host and the EV charging company, how much goes to who. So in many cases, there's a split or a share. That's why it's called revenue share. Very rarely, unless the EV charging company is really smart, will they be able to get 100% of the profit that goes into that charger, right? And this is one of the main things that kept coming up in the conversations with these EV charging companies. They kept mentioning 3 things, and revenue sharing was the first one. So this is a big selling point, right? If the host is going to receive a big portion of the revenue, then that would be very enticing for them to move forward with your offer. But we don't want to give up any of the revenue. And if we do, maybe it's only going to be 10%. Okay, well, how do we get away with taking 90% of the revenue from the chargers that are placed on someone else's property? And this is where the other 2 poker chips come in that we can use to negotiate to sweeten the deal for them. So the second poker chip is something called the transaction fee. So when you go and use the charger, there'll be a percentage. Usually it's like 2-3%. And the EV charging company will tell you that this is for processing the transaction, right? Processing usually the credit card payment through Stripe or PayPal or whatever processing company they use. And this is fair, they're just passing on the cost of the transaction fee to the client, which is understandable, but people don't like paying these transaction fees, right? So in a perfect world for the host or for whoever's using the charger, they want no transaction fee, but I'll get to that in a second. And our third poker chip that we can use to negotiate our deals is what's called the networking fee. And all this is paying for the software every month. Now, with the networking fee, you could argue that there's also the support services that are offered. If something goes wrong with the charger or the driver's having a hard time using it, they can call the support and get, someone to help them. And they could say this is all included in the networking fee, which it is. but we're just going to focus mostly on the software. Now, the monthly networking fee or the software fee, it ranges pretty drastically from company to company, but let's just use a rough example and say it's $50. That actually might be a little high. Sometimes it's $25, sometimes it's $100, but this is where the negotiation tactics come in. Okay, so what should you do for your business? What's the best way to set this up so we maximize our profits, but we still keep our hosts happy? And this is what I found so interesting of being at the Everything Electric show. They would always bring up these 3 poker chips, but then they would say, well, we do it this way because. So one EV charging company had super low transaction fees. It was nothing. They didn't have a transaction fee. But then to balance this out with no transaction fee, they still need to cover those costs, right? So then they said, we have no transaction fee, but we take 50% of the revenue. And there's also a $25 monthly networking fee per charger. So how they set up the deal was they gave this one poker chip to them, but they kept these 2 poker chips to make up for that one. Now, another EV charging company that I spoke with, it was even more interesting. They received no revenue from the EV chargers. They gave up all the revenue to the condos or the multi-unit residential buildings. Just call it apartments or condos, anywhere in a building where a bunch of people live. This is what most of these EV charging companies were targeting, and I'll get to that in another video, why condos are so great. But for this EV charging company, they just said, we don't take any of the revenue. We don't have a transaction fee, but we do charge $50 per month per charger for everything. So that was their networking fee, but it was basically just a fee. They didn't call it a networking fee. It was just a monthly payment, like a subscription. And they were hoping that that $50 for every charger would cover all of the other services that they're offering. So they gave away 2 of their poker chips and they just kept one big one, I guess. Okay, so what's the best way to set this up for your business? How would I recommend that you do this? And for me, I want the golden goose. I want 100% of the profits that go into the EV chargers. And I want this because of the growth potential. As more and more EVs hit the road every day, that means more customers to be using your chargers, and those profits will just continue to increase. But you are largely depending on utilization or how much people are using the chargers. So we want to be smart about this. We want to make sure we put our chargers in a place where lots of people can use them and they're going to be staying for a decent amount of time. Okay, well, how do we convince a host to let us take all the profits and they get nothing? Well, this is one other big negotiating piece that I haven't mentioned yet. And the best way to do this is to own the chargers. So we're going to offer to pay for the chargers. We paid for the entire project. They're our chargers. And this means we get all the money that goes into them. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to pay to put like 50 chargers in a building. No, we just want 2 chargers in the visitor parking of a condo building that anybody in the building can use. This might cost us $8,000, $10,000, pretty quick install with a huge list of customers that can use them that live in the building. But honestly, this is not a common offer. I'll be surprised if you can tell me another EV charging company that's offering this model. And this is because most EV charging companies really like that recurring revenue every month. They have employees, they have bills, their model is different. And honestly, I think this might be why they're struggling a little bit. They want to have that guaranteed monthly recurring revenue from the networking fees, let's say $50, $100 a month per charger that they can depend on. But their model's also different. They're trying to scale massively. They want to make money off of reselling as many chargers as possible. But we don't want to do this. That's not the best business model. We want the revenue that goes into the chargers because the growth potential as more and more people start driving EVs is unlimited. So we're going to keep our offer super simple. We're going to do whatever we can to receive as much of those profits as possible. Now, if you're not quite sure this location is a prime spot, but you still are interested in putting your chargers there, then you can get creative with this offer. But again, keep it simple. So let's say you're not willing to pay for the entire project, then you could go splitsies with them. You can go 50-50 on everything. You could say, look, we'll offer to pay for half the project, let's say $5,000. You have to pay for the other charger, and we'll split the profits. There's no networking fee. There's no transaction fee. It's just 50-50. We're equal partners on this. But it's so great to actually keep ownership of the chargers because there are some more little mini poker chips that I haven't included in my main 3, but there are some other benefits if you own the chargers, like getting all the rebates to help pay you back for your investment, or at least a big portion of it. You'll also collect all the carbon credits. Not every state, not every province has carbon credits, but if you do live in one where you can collect those carbon credits, that's like a little hidden gem that you can get back from the government to help subsidize your investment. But the biggest one of owning the chargers is control. They're yours. You can set the rates of how much it costs to use them. You can set the rates of how much it costs if people leave their car there for too long, like the idle fees. There's not as much negotiation because you're the one in the power position. Thanks so much for subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.